Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder Path Trading Level. Path Trading Levels, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacino, who will hopefully be able to join us again this week. Hey, Dan Jet. Well, you didn't need to root on Tesla too much today. Quite the down and up on Tesla over the last week, and we should keep seeing that in the future more often. Good day, Sailing Dream. Hey, Ken, how are you? Most people are talking about being at the top of a channel, so I'm assuming it's around 9:30. If so, where's the rejection point? We should be cautious. We'll take a look at that. Uh, Again, I'm not unless they're talking about a shorter. I mean, let me just see here. People could be looking at, I'm just trying to figure out what they're looking at. People could be looking at around here, but that's more like a best fit line area. We've hit this other side of the 4 hour rotation zone, which is a great area. We had those buy signals. We had that aggressive buy on Friday, and then we had just had the gap up, never attempting to fill the gap, but the first major area once with the gap above the 1 hour, which, by the way, if you're looking for a great stop level, aggressive stop would be about 912.50. Conservative stop would be about 895. Which conservative stop would also, if you start getting closed back below 900, it could be rolling over again. Again, I'm not bullish on Tesla long term. I was bullish for a bounce, especially with a NASDAQ bounce, which you've got. NASDAQ could continue higher. That's why we'll keep watching this. My next area, we've hit the what I started off the conversation was we hit this 4 hour rotation zone, which is again great place if you see either lighten up or at least raise a stop. And I already gave you my stop levels. The next major area I'm watching, let me zoom in here. We actually can switch to the daily. You see we have a trend line here, defining point, initiating point. Right above that, we have the daily rotation zone. We have a harmonic. So right between about 967 to about 977 is a major resistance area. Harmonic, top of the daily rotation zone, and declining trend line. If we did get through there, next key area is about 995 to 1,000. We have a significant level there, and we have the 50-day exponential right up there. Through that, I put up the next levels just in case we do get through there. 1011, then 1036. So that's where we sit to the upside. I'm really going to be focusing on tomorrow, my first key area. Let me switch that 4 hour on a continued rally, especially with the NASDAQ. I'm still looking for a little follow through with the NASDAQ. 952 to 955 is my first window, and that would be another great area to raise a stop. And you see here with the declining trend line there, and then above there would be the 973. For pullbacks, I already told you 895 would be a conservative stop. You start dropping below that, then it will, we're back below the 900. It couldn't continue to follow through. Just seeing where that sits. The major area then below that is 865, right by this low from this gap update, and that would be the 50% so far of this pullback. So again, we have to plan for both sides. Early warning shot is if you get a close below about 912 on a 1 hour. So the first hour of trading tomorrow, you start getting closed below 912. Warning shot, you get a close below 895. Not good. Then I'd be targeting the about 864, and then below there we have the gap fill. So that's all the upside and downside plays. Wavies here, insane melt up today. Felt like October 25th all over again. Again, a ton of some money rotated into high flying PE stocks across the board, and Tesla is one of those. And when it gets the rotation in, you just get this kind of move. So with barely any gap, I'm not going to even bother putting up the gap lines because it was essentially a 5-minute bar See here, the 5-minute bar didn't even come close to 62.5, and then just running up with the 5-minute rotation zone. Then you switch, of course, to the 15-minute as you close lunch. Sideways correction. This is a great example of a sideways correction into the 8 pushing price, and then it just continued to the top. You do have a little mini double top, so on some weakness first thing out of the gate tomorrow, here's your little mini double top targets, which would take you to 900. So even if that triggered and went to full areas, it would still be in front of the 1 hour rotation zone. Then you're watching for that key close with the 1 hour rotation zone. Let's see. Can you explain briefly what is meant by harmonics? Harmonics, I don't use Fibonacci. I use 8th harmonics. And I use them for retracements. So if you look at my retracement settings, everything's in 8th intervals because it tested out better than the fib levels. So those are harmonics. They're called 8th harmonics. Sometimes I call them Gann harmonics, but he didn't actually use them the same way I do. It's just people relate to that name. And for projections, we use the 12 and the 25% harmonic projections to give us areas to raise stops and or take profits. And you can see it's the 0.125 and the 0.25 levels. And those are going to go from major swing lows and recent swing lows to pausing bars, and this is a pausing bar. So I can come, let me redraw this here, show you how I did it. I'm going to use my trend-based fib extension, but they've been modified. Remember with that 0.125 and 0.25. So I'm going to click here to anchor it. So that's a low. Here's a pausing bar right here. Why the next bar did not touch it and pulled back. And then I'm going to go to my harmonic settings, which again is the 12.5 and 25, and that's going to give me a key area. Now I look for those key areas in conjunction with price action. We have a significant level around 952.50, and that gives me 954.98, and we have a declining trend line. So we have decent overhead resistance right here. And then above there gives me 973.09. Right near these Candlebardi's highs. If we go through that, I also have the harmonics, and these are reverse harmonics. Why? They go backwards in time. So from the same key anchor point backwards in time to a pausing bar right here. So that for, if we go through this major swing high at 987.54, I would target 1011.98, so essentially 1012, and then 1036.50 area. It gives us great areas. Besides just blatant price action, the market tends to react in these intervals. So that's why we use them from extensive research in a lot of markets. Mike, is there any videos done on how it's going to be? I'll go in much more depth in the course. Again, you've got the basics. You see me do the basics every day. That's enough to just make you dangerous right there. And I will have more stuff in the course, but you have enough to literally, if you didn't ever want to look at another thing I did, you have enough information to continue your research and to utilize harmonics effectively based off you see how I do them. 42 Lou, I hope you have a hall pass. I need to see your hall pass since you're late. Andre, might be concerned the forecast for lower prices. Tesla down to 200 SMA on Friday's low of 792, but Tesla hasn't traded below the 200-day SMA since October 2019. My concern is the low was Friday at 792. Why is that your concern? Again, I don't think it's low because we've triggered the overall weekly pattern. We triggered a massive double top and weekly. This is just a reactionary rally. I mean, it could even get up to above 1,000 and still be a reactionary rally and then longer term roll over. So that doesn't mean you can't trade it from the bullish side. Again, I'm expecting some follow through and higher prices, and this is a great area to continue to trail a stop to the upside. But I don't know. Yeah, and I pointed out we haven't got a key close in a very long time below the 200. I mean, these were just massive blips. We had some gaps below it, but there's not a lot of key closes below it. See gap right on it, right there. Gap on it, gap below, but close above. Close right at it. Close right at it. This was a little close below it. but then a quick bounce back. So you had some brief closes. This wasn't even a close below; it was just a reaction. But again, we triggered that longer term topping pattern. So I'm not surprised to see a rally, just like I wasn't surprised to see a rally at ARK and a bunch of other garbage out there. And this is why it's a great way to learn how to trail stops. Take something off, especially we hit this key area tomorrow. The other side of the daily rotation zone is a great area to move up a stop again and or take some profits off the table. Eight root notes, eight intervals makes sense musically. There's a lot, yes, and there's a lot of stuff that works in harmonics. That's one of the reasons I started researching it. So, and it has its foundation in music. So you caught on real quick. You are welcome. I don't want to butcher your name. So if you want to type in how to do it phonetically, I'll try it. I made the mistake not to invest at 800 on Friday. I'm looking for cheap entry point to go long-term long in my retirement account. Well, I think you're going to have great entry points in the future, especially when the NASDAQ rolls over again. If you want something short-term, I definitely keep stops on it because I do think we will break below that 792 low longer term. Short term, I think you're just chasing it now, and I'd wait for a pullback, but it's again not an overbought yet at the 4 hour or the daily. Today was just too hard unless you were doing again aggressive momentum chasing, because you had, I mean, these weren't even great momentum bars, but it just stair stepped higher. You had this little thing, and then it couldn't get that, but this was the only then play a breakout to new highs if you were waiting for a momentum breakout besides this little morning area and then just running it up. I would watch for a slightly bigger pause or a pullback and then a rotation up if you wanted to start establishing a position. But again, the last little signal we had on the longer term basis was this was the aggressive buy at the end of day that we outlined on Friday. And I don't believe. And then to see the aggressive buy on the 4 hour was on this bar today, but it already ran too far. I wouldn't have chased that. So that's where we sit. Again, be patient. It's not, and you'll have time to get into things. The markets don't go straight up or straight down. It gives you chances, and I can't give investment advice, especially for retirement accounts, because I don't know your situation and how many stocks you're targeting and everything else. But just be careful that you don't chase things and get in at a bad long-term position. Okay, so my advice would be there will be entries, just don't over chase. DD a bit like that. DDR. I can DDR. I got that. All right, DDR. Now I won't remember that, but I will. I have it. DDR. That makes sense. Sort of looking at your name. Thank you again. I'm trying to pronounce DDR's first. I'm not even gonna try the last name. Okay. All right, DDR. Thank you. 15-minute looks better. What were you talking about? 15-minute. Again, even if you wanted a play possibly tomorrow, you get a nice little pullback to this potential double, which is a pullback on the daily, and then you get a nice little rotation up. It might be good to start dipping your toe with a pullback. If it just rips higher again tomorrow right off the bat, wouldn't chase it unless it's very, very short term. I mean, I'm talking intraday trading. Yeah. We looked at that in the market overview, and that's what I said. Watch to see if it holds up or starts pulling back after the Serious Logic. I'm just going to glance at this real quick. So It was up big time. Let's just take a look. This is what this after hours stuff. This is why I said, sorry. This is why I said watch to see what happens after hours. They released earnings tonight and they did beat, but let's see. Extended. Look at, or they, look at that. Now, this is why I hate pre and post. I hate trading in thin times. Look at this move. Boom. So we were closing out the day 89, mid 89, running up all the way up to just over 100, and then back to 82. Come on. If you want to know why I'm looking at that, go watch the market overview. Because I wanted to see if it followed through on earnings or not. And obviously it did not. That's why I don't make, again, you don't want to chase things in this market. $1K easy for Tesla. Yeah, we could see that. We will see. But if the NASDAQ rolls over hard, and I'm not expecting to roll over tomorrow, I'm expecting some follow through tomorrow still. But if NASDAQ rolls over hard, again, watch out for Tesla. It's going to trade with the macro. It's still going to trade with the macro. Yeah, we're back to juicing the options. You got to get the thing back up there. So the liquidity is it's in a lot in the market. Even the S&P futures have thinned out a lot with the trading. Last week they were a lot thinner than normal. It's why I'm still hesitant. By the way, the more likes this live stream gets, the more people it's shared to. Again, thank you for Didier. Thank you. Please do like the live stream, and please, if you can come back and leave comments, it does help people. Let's get back to Tesla. I don't think I have anything else to say at Tesla. My only advice is if you're long, keep raising a stop. Do not just ignore this and pretend it's going to go to 1,600 overnight. At least raise a stop, especially with the NASDAQ. Why I'm still bullish in the NASDAQ, we have this double bottom trigger, and it could easily still run to the first target. We have the 200 here. Go watch my market overview. Shameless plug right there. But we have the first target on the double, and we have the top of the rotation zone. You even get the follow through to there. We will probably see some more easy upside in Tesla. That's where I'm sitting. Again, you've seen one of those, so thank you for the lessons. Again, do I know when it's going to top? No. I mean, we can identify. Here's the thing. There's no crystal ball. We have probabilities and we look for clusters. It's why I identify the probabilities in the cluster areas. How do you take advantage of it? You keep moving up a stop. You keep moving up a stop, and then if it does roll over, and you take some off at key points, and once you've taken some off, if you get a pullback move and it looks like you get another re-entry point, you can always add stuff back on. If it pulls back and then just rolls over and plays dead, then you're stopped out in the remaining of your position, hopefully at a profit, and then you wait for the bigger pullback if you're a bull case only, and then look for a new longer-term entry signal. Other than that, stop trying to call every high and low and trail out your position. That's why I'm listing this for people. Learn to trail out your position. And if it keeps running, you keep making money. If it rolls over, you're stopped out for a profit. You are welcome. Be nimble and be aware. Trail stops. There you go. And understand risk with holding overnight. And that's why also I love to lock in something. Lock in something where it gets to a key level for you. I'm not going to tell you because different people have key levels. And you might have more than one key level where you take something off the table. But you take something off the table and raise a stop. And even if it gaps against you and below your stop, fine, you're out. But you should have locked in some money. And therefore, you're not in a precarious position of, all right, now what do I do? The biggest killer of people is always second guessing. What do they do? What do they do? What do they do? Once you've locked something in and you start trailing a stop, trading becomes a lot easier. Because then your only question is, do I have a re-entry signal for a partial position? If not, I just trail my stop. And you should love when it stops you out because then you've taken the rest of your money off the table and then you can just watch for a longer term reentry signal. Thank you, Andre. Again, always appreciate the super chats are super appreciated to keep the channel pumping along. I shouldn't say pumping because I hate the term pumping with stocks. But it keeps the channel ticking along like a well-oiled clock. That didn't make sense either. A well-oiled machine or a finely tuned clock? We'll go with that. Thank you, Andre. Again, super appreciated. Didier, thanks for suggesting, again, the people with the likes and getting a wider audience. And just because longer term I'm bearish does not lessen any bullish aspect of Tesla for everybody new out there. You should actually like to hear what somebody says who's longer term bearish, because they're not drinking the Kool-Aid and just saying, oh, it's going to the moon. I'm trying to give actual trading advice to prevent people from getting hurt longer term, and so you can still figure out ways to make money on these swings. With that, I will talk to everyone later. Let me switch there. Oh, did I even do the If you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and definitely hitting that like button. Moon Boys out. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.